we're gonna be reacting to real map from Rainbow Six Siege Oregon documentary. If you didn't know, Oregon's actually based on a true story. The map is a real life building, and we're gonna be reacting to it here right now inside the deadly WACO siege negotiations. I was there as well, guys. So let's get right into the video and let's react to this.
What's your emergency?
There's 75 men around our building and they're shooting at us in Mount Carmel. Tell them
That's
there's
crazy.
children and women in here and to call it
Looks
off.
like a bunch of recruits. Oh god, they look like a bunch of
I
recruits.
hear gunfire. Oh, shit.
Good evening, friends. It has been over 36 hours now since federal agents
Cult
first
Siege.
confronted
What a
heavily
coincidence,
armed
guys.
religious cult in
Rainbow
their
Six
Waco.
Siege.
They were met by a
Kind of,
hail of
that actually looks
gunfire,
exactly like
killing
Oregon. That's
40
crazy.
agents and wounding over a dozen others.
This event was totally unprecedented in law enforcement history.
Well, the leader of this branch Davidians.
Yo,
called
chat, is there like an
David
actual what is it called, documentary about this?
David was a manipulator and a liar.
Stalemate. The cult members breaking their promise to surrender.
It was 51 days. of
Yo, Chad, that's
very
actually crazy.
dedicated and difficult
That's actually crazy, chat.
negotiations.
More than 80 people are believed to have died in yesterday's fiery conclusion to the 51-day siege.
51-day
24
siege,
of them
chat.
children.
It was the most horrific crime
24
scene I've
children,
ever
chat.
seen. What you see on TV is about 90% Hollywood and 10% accurate. There's been a very skillful effort to rewrite history, and
Rest
I
in peace, rest in
refuse
peace.
to let that stand. My
That's
name
actually
is
horrible,
R6
chat.
SIEGE. I was
Yo.
there when the Branch Davidian siege began.
And you're telling me you're gonna
all the way
defend
through
that
until
and be
ended
proud of it.
tragically on the 19th of April.
What? Wait. So this guy, this old guy, was.
I've been a negotiator in the FBI.
No.
Since 1976.
Oh, he's been there, but as the FBI.
February 28, 1993 was a Sunday. My wife and I were getting our boys up to get ready to go to church. I was just getting ready to jump in the shower and the phone rang. It was my boss who said, "Byron, there's been a raid.
Yo, that's
It's
actually.
gone
Yo,
horribly
chat.
wrong.
This might be the craziest thing ever
I need you to proceed as soon as you
in Rainbow Six Siege lore.
can to the Waco area and assist
Waco, yeah.
with negotiations." I got ready to go and sped up to Waco. Red light, siren, a lot.
Chat. 24 children, and there's a children classroom and bunk beds. Yo, chat. That's probably based on those. No way.
Of prayers. We had no prior knowledge that ATF was going to conduct a raid that day. We knew that they had an investigation into the Branch Davidian, and we had a parallel interest into allegations
Yo,
of
what?
violations
They have a
of
whole ass
civil
tank for
rights
this?
and child abuse and so forth.
The siege began Sunday morning when ATF
Yo, that's
agents
crazy
went
though.
to
How
the
they
Branch
like
Davidian
there's like
compound
20
near Waco.
FBI's
Arrest
here, and on
David
Siege you
Koresh,
need just 5.
weapons
Look, there's actually 5 of
When
them, right? Oh wait,
ATF
never mind. There's more.
rolled in to
Imagine you
conduct
can like
their
use ladders in
lawful
Rainbow Six Siege.
execution of a search warrant and an arrest warrant for Vernon Howell. They were met by simultaneous gunfire.
Yo,
from
that's the
over
little
40
window.
different shooting positions. That's not
Main
an
door.
arbitrary response to what they claimed later in court was an overzealous action by ATF. That's garbage.
The cult, actually called or known as the Branch Davidians, is an offshoot of the Seventh-day Adventist Church.
As far as the Branch Davidian sect, the only thing I really knew about them was that
That's
they were
horrible.
a self-isolated group
That's horrible.
that lived in a large communal
horrible.
setting, and that David
That's
was very controlling of
That's
those
horrible.
individuals that were there to listen to his ministry. We'd also heard that they had a substantial number of weapons
Yo.
and possibly
Chat, they had a
ammunition
whole ass
location.
LMG.
So I knew of them, but I didn't know a lot about them. That was very soon to change. As I'm entering into the Waco area, I'm
Yo,
diverted
this
to
is
join
101
with the
Oregon on
negotiation that
Siege.
was ongoing
101
on
Oregon on
the
Siege.
emergency line, the 911
101
line.
Oregon on
The
Siege,
blaze
chat.
line is
101
open
Oregon.
into the compound in case we need to do some negotiation.
The gun battle is still raging about 8 miles northeast. It wasn't in Waco, by the way. It occurred near a small area known as Elk. Later in the media, they told me flat out, you know, Byron, think
Aussie?
about it. The WACO from Elk or the WACO from Waco?
I'm sorry some of you guys got shot. But, hey, God will have to sort that out, won't he?
The best thing that you could do as a negotiator is listen to the individual to try to get the story behind
Are you serious?
what brought us to this point.
You
When
say
I
that?
first got on the phone
How can someone be
with
like that?
Hal,
Like,
I
how?
introduced
How?
myself, and then I said, Mr.
Mr.
Hal, how
Howell.
do you want me to refer to you, or what do you want me to call you? David
Yo, chat,
is
do I have nice
speaking
eyes?
with gunshots being fired in the background, people screaming, and very calmly, too calmly, he says, Agent Sage, have you ever heard a person die? And I said, yes, I have. He said, then you know how to pronounce my name. He said, it's like that last breath, the death knell. It's Koresh. And he drug it out. We both knew that we were in for a very difficult situation.
Kind of sounds like a boss battle from a video game.
Now, David,
Like the
no
evil villain
question,
and the
was
good guy.
100% in charge of those people inside the Branch Davidian. He had slowly but subtly not only taken over control of the ministry, but every aspect of their life. So you're speaking to a very manipulative man. We were finally able to get an agreement that David would order his people to cease firing, and we would get an assurance that ATF would cease fire. We offered to send in
That was 20 years ago. That was 30 years ago, chat.
it. Now, it's important to realize that although I was the first negotiator from the FBI, we eventually would have 52 of the best negotiators I've ever worked with. We fell into a routine, talking to David, talking to Steve Schneider for the ensuing days. The average length of a hostage barricade type situation in the United States is 6 to 8 hours.
Yo.
This event was totally unprecedented
51
in law
days.
enforcement history.
Wiemy, że trzymasz kursor nad przyciskiem,
You
ale
serious?
potrzebujemy twojej pomocy. Mamy lepszy przycisk. Obiecujemy.
Yes,
W samą porę.
We had done a number of things to try to induce a surrender by David. We had aired a 58-minute sermon that he had prepared and promised. As soon as we aired this sermon, that he and all of his followers would immediately come out.
The whole
They
flag
did
and
not.
everything. Preach. I wonder if this guy's dead now. So fat. No way.
He was a liar.
I wonder if there's any other maps that
difficult
have
to
like
not
lore
lose
like
your
this.
temper with
This is
Every
actually
single
horrible.
day that he remained in there, he'd been
Rest in
ordered
peace, rest in
to
peace, rest in
exit the
peace to all the
building
people that
and
died in the
to
Waco
face
shooting,
charges
terrorist attack.
of murder, attempted murder, and a number of things. He knew that in addition to that, he was going to be facing charges of child molestation,
No
sexual
way.
exploitation of
No
children.
way.
He was not looking at a very easy time in custody. He
No
wouldn't budge.
way.
The cult leader,
No
David
way.
Parrish, told the FBI he hadn't surrendered as promised because God
Yo,
had
yo,
told him
chat,
to
you
wait.
reckon he's
We
racist
would
as well?
eventually get a total of
Because in Oregon,
21
there's sometimes
children
posters,
released.
weird posters.
21 children have been released since the standoff began
Aw,
February
the li-
28th.
oh, no way,
Most
actually,
came out
there's
with
the little
messages from their
kids.
parents listing relatives that might take them.
I'm very proud of that, and I'm relieved and thankful for each and every one of them. We kept after David,
Horrible.
kept after Steve. About
Yo, we got a
70 more
sniper and
children now.
everything.
You got to argue
Cali.
with me, you catch me on the side of the road somewhere, you come and argue with me. You come point guns in the direction of my wives and my kids,
Wives.
I'll meet you at the door anytime.
Finally,
Wives.
David on the 7th of
Roasted
March
wives, not
got
a wife.
a little
Wives.
peeved. He kind of barked at the negotiator and said, "Hey, you're not dealing with those other kids anymore. These are my children. They're not coming out." That was a huge setback.
Here, the FBI says it's doing everything it can to ensure that none of the 90 adults and 18 children in this cult comes to any harm.
We needed to be patient and try to
Or a
expend
horrible
every
chat.
effort to get these people out peacefully before we resorted to a tactical resolution.
Koresh has been playing loud rock music, exploding into tirades on the phone with
That's
the
crazy.
FBI. There's nothing to suggest he's giving up soon.
He has made such statements as, "We are ready for war. Let's get it on. Your talk is becoming in vain."
We would eventually get a total of 35 individuals out, including the 21 children. But ultimately, David continued to refuse to come out.
We're not negotiating. We're saying come out. Come out with your hands up. This matter is over.
They brought a whole
On
ass
the morning
tank.
of April 19th, 1993, that's a day that will live with me forever. Our intention was to force, through the use of tear gas, the systematic exit of all of the Branch Davidians.
They should add
David would come
they
out
should
with
add
the
tear gas to
children,
Rainbow
then
Six
the
Siege.
women, and lastly the men.
And the ladders.
Both Steve and David had agreed to all of it. The majority of the windows were barricaded with mattresses or with bales of hay. It was clear that they were angling or prepared for this final confrontation. We estimated that it would take up to 48 hours to systematically saturate the far ends of the compound, drive them to the center and out the door. The problem was, once they opened fire on our vehicles, those armored vehicles looked like they were rigged with sparklers. From the bullets bouncing off it was amazing. It was like 4th of July in a very depressing realization that they were engaging us instead of coming out as they had promised. When they tried to open the front door with the CEV boom, it was barricaded. So there was no way those Branch Davidians could have come out the front door as they had agreed to do. The tanks, they commenced to poke several holes along the front and south side of the compound in order to give them a means to exit. I had prayed that we would see those kids streaming out of that building, but we never did. We had microphones that we had inserted into the compound. Once you cleared out the background noise, you could make out.
Yo! I'm reacting to Oregon documentary.
Are you serious?
Are you guys back?
Optic is not here. Where is it?
Oh, bro, I literally told the guy to tell me if you're gonna be back.
Oh.
Are you back, yeah?
Yeah, I'll be back in 2 minutes.
Right.
Alright, but when I'm back, I'll call you.
Sorry, excuse chat, because we're uploading another video on there. Oh, recording.
Conversations. The first one we made out, very much after the fact, was Steve Schneider hanging up on me. He ordered 2 things. Put on your tear gas masks.
Sledge!
And then the second thing,
No way,
a minute or
Sledge.
2 later, he said,
Wait, is this the operation where Sledge died? Because guys, don't know if you knew this, but Sledge is actually a real was a real person in real life, and he died in one of the operations in real life, and that's why they put him into the game.
12 noon, about 5 to 10 minutes after the last insertion of tear gas. My partner came running in. He said, "Give me the mic, give me the mic." And he said, "We've just observed somebody appeared to be pouring some liquid and has lit a fire. Come out of there immediately. That place is on fire." When we saw the fire take hold and start spreading swiftly, by this time, there's about a 35 knot wind blowing right through the compound, through those holes that we had punched in the building, not realizing we had turned that building into just a funnel for the fire to take hold. My demands that
No
turned
way,
to
Jim.
requests became pleas.
That's
David, don't do this. Don't end this way. You claim to be a savior. Save those people in there. Lead them out now before it's too late. A total of 9 adults came out that last day, the 19th of April. The rest of the people elected to stay inside or were forced to stay inside. I don't know. One of them brought out a dog. Not one brought out a child. They began to give orders to the Davidians that came out and took them into custody. And when I heard that, I made probably the toughest decision I have ever made in 50 years in law enforcement to this day. I elected to turn off the microphones, which represented 51 days of very dedicated and difficult negotiations. It also acknowledged that we had not gotten them all out. In essence, we had failed. I'm not in the business of failure. This hit me hard. I looked around the corner at that building. By this time, it was nearly fully engulfed. I looked and pleaded that we'd see those kids. Nowhere to be seen. As I'm looking at it, I'm still, I don't know, I guess I was in shock or I was emotionally devastated. Jeff Jamar, who is a good friend of mine, the on-scene commander, came over to me and put his arm around my shoulder, and he said, well, it looks like negotiations are over. You've got the crime scene.
Do you seek
Really
a life
an
of
ad?
adventure, to be brave and bold? Perhaps you seek fortune.
I ended up
Go on, sit
helping
chat.
to exhume 2 of the bodies that were in that compound. I don't know why I did that to myself, but, you know, I was there to get a job done, and I was going to help get it done. You know, these could have been people I'd been talking to for 51 days. There's already a lot of questions starting to come up about, you know, how could this have happened? How could we
actually unbelievable.
have allowed all these people to die? Well, we didn't. They elected to stay in there at David's direction. We officially turned the crime scene over to McLennan County Sheriff's Office, and that was about midday on the 6th of May. I packed up and headed home. The rest is history.
So gone.
I carry this with me to this day.
There's
I
not a real
celebrate
place
those
anymore. It used to be.
21 kids that we got out. I know that they've been influenced by some of this negative propaganda, but I hope that they also will seek out the truth and come to realize that it was their parents that elected not to come out.
Those children are dead because David Koresh had them killed. There's no question about that. He had those fires started. He had 51 days to release those children. He chose those children to die.
There was not one shot fired by the Bureau or by any other law enforcement or ninja outfits, as I've heard people claim were there. They were not there.
Ninja outfits? What are
It's
ninja
just
outfits?
total garbage to inflame the public. My job in the FBI for nearly 30 years was to protect and defend the citizens of this country against all enemies, foreign or domestic. The biggest problem that I think the general public does not know is that this is a systematic effort, quite successful effort, to undermine the credibility and the trust of the American public in agencies like the FBI. And I refuse to allow